So the text, I'm reading out the lines from the essay. Studies serve for delight, for ornament, and for ability. The book is right in my hand. I'm just focusing on the lines and elaborating it. Studies serve for delight. Delight, happiness, joy. For ornament, ornament that enhance the beauty. But here, the ornament is not referring to physical beauty, but the beauty of knowledge, the beauty of caliber, the beauty of capacity that one can acquire through knowledge, through reading book, through studies. And for ability, ability, one's skill, one's potential. Their chief use for delight is in privateness and retiring. Privateness and retiring, when one is in isolation, alone in his private space, and spending the time in reading the novels, the books he was interested in. So that gives him the delight, that is the chief use of delight. For ornament is in discourse, a person who has knowledge and skill use that knowledge while discussing it, while in argument, while conferring and conversation, that is in discourse. And for ability is in the judgment and disposition of business. Judgment and disposition of business, he can apply it, implement it practically in his work field also. For expert men can execute and perhaps judge of particulars one by one. Expert men, a person who is expert, who has expertise, and he can execute, carry that skill, that idea, that knowledge, and perhaps judge of particulars one by one. Judge of particulars one by one means he can apply that knowledge, that skill in carrying out his work. But the general counsels and the plots and marshalling of affairs come best from those that are learned. Plots and marshalling of affairs. Marshalling, systematic arrangement, organized way, making plots and plan. That is marshalling of affairs. So one can very well use the techniques how to execute, how to carry his work in a planned way if he has that knowledge that he can gain through studies. For example, we have management courses. So those management courses develops and inculcates within one that organized and management techniques one by one. But the general counsels and the plots or marshalling of affairs come best from those that are learned. To spend too much time in studies is sloth. S-L-O-T-H, sloth, the word has been used. Its meaning is laziness. आलसीपन हम उसे कह सकते हैं. So here he wanted to tell us that to spend too much time in studies is sloth. To use them too much for ornament is affectation. To make judgment wholly by their rule is the humor of a scholar. Now, too much time, if one spend too much time in studies, it can make the person lazy, inactive, because in absence of action, one can become lazy. That is sloth. Too much for ornament is affection. Affectation here refers to ornament, affectation for artificiality, unnecessary talks, unnecessary use of discourses and conversation just to seek attention, just to showcase vanity, show off that one has the knowledge of that, is artificiality. To make judgment wholly by the rule is the humor of a scholar. Means, line to line, if you go through the meaning and words and follow it blindly without judging it, without evaluating it, that how it is purposeful, worthy or not, is also not good. मतलब जो भी किताब में लिखा है आप उसे पढ़े, समझे, उसे उतारे अपने जीवन में, लेकिन without observation, without practical application, that cannot be worthy. To make judgment wholly by the rule is the humor of a scholar, and that can make a whim of a scholar, that can create a joke of him. So the perfect nature and are perfected by experience. Here they refers to the knowledge that one gain by studying. So they perfect nature that helps in molding one's character and personality towards perfection, and are perfected by experience. It's not only that if you theoretically read a book and learn it can make you a scholar and a perfect man, but it also requires their practical use and application in your life. That gives you experience. So, perfected by experience, that can be pruned over, that can be trimmed you, shapen you with a new personality. For natural abilities are like natural plants that need pruning by study. So natural abilities are like natural plants. So natural plants मतलब जो प्रकृति अपने से जो पौधे क्रॉप आउट होते हैं, उसके बाद उसे हम क्या करते हैं, शेप करते हैं, वी ट्रिम देम सो दैट वो और फ्लावर्स और लीव्स हमें दे, एंड इट ग्रोज इनटू अ बिग ट्री, एक वृक्ष का आकार ले ले. So in the same way we can say that they perfect nature. Nature, the personality of an individual. For natural abilities are like natural plants that need pruning by study. Pruning, P-R-O-Y-N-I-N-G. Here pruning refers to trimming or pruning, that is shaping one's nature, one's personality by study. And studies themselves do give for directions too much at large, except they be bounded in by experience. So studies give forth directions. Give forth directions means it give you your direction towards building up your career, that which career you will choose for your future. That shows you the way that leads you to a path for advancement and success, but that should be bounded by experience. Here bounded by means it should be controlled, means guided by studies, so that one should not go astray, one should not be misled. So bounded in by experience, and that one can get through the experience. Crafty men condemn studies, simple men admire them, and wise men use them, for they teach not their own use. Now here three types of men were mentioned: crafty men, simple men and wise men. Crafty man, clever man, जिसे हम बोल सकते हैं चालाक, cunning, धूर्त. A crafty man who undermines study, undervalues studies, because he believes that through unfair means he can gain much. He can achieve what he wants, that is not possible through direct method, through fair ways. So that is the thought of a crafty man, and therefore he condemns studies, undervalues studies. But simple men, जो साधारण लोग होते हैं, simple men हैं, वो admire करते हैं. They like it, they admire it, they have a regard for it. And wise men use them, for they teach not their own use, but that is a wisdom without them and above them, won by observation. But wise men, they not only use that knowledge in following the guidelines of their life, but they also practically implement them. And that is the wisdom. And that wisdom acquired through practical experiences. Read, not to contradict and confute. Contradict if you are opposing something, if you are not agreeing with something, and confute if you are also contradicting, opposing, not agreeing, disagreeing with something. So he says here, read not to confute or contradict, not to believe and take for granted, not to find talk and discourse. So the mission of reading should not be only for raising argument and proving somebody wrong, and not to believe and take for granted also. Believe whatever you have read without measuring it, weighing it, evaluating it. You are blindly accepting it. उससे समझौता करना, उसे मान लेना, that is taken for granted. Not to find talk and discourse also, not to get an issue or a topic for discussion as you have the idea and knowledge of it, nor to believe and take for granted, not to find talk and discourse, but to weigh and consider. But to weigh and consider, here weigh, W-E-I-G-H. Here weigh means measuring, tolna, weighing, evaluating critically and considering it. उसे माप तौल के समय के साथ, परिस्थितियों के साथ समझ के accept करना means whatever the situation and circumstances are, whether the solution is apt for that or not, weighing it, evaluating it, and then accepting it. That is, weigh and consider. Some books are to be tasted, others to be swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested. Now here, 3 categories are given. Now some books are to be tasted. Now taste means what? Suppose we have a dish and we are not finishing the dish or fulfilling the appetite, but we are just tasting it to know how the taste is. Similarly, if somebody has given a name that book, have you heard of that book? That book was very nice. So it naturally raise the curiosity, anxious within you that what is there in that book. So you just, for that curiosity, to meet up that curiosity, you just read in parts or read the end page just to know the essence, the theme of that book, what is in it. So that is tasted. Others to be swallowed, just उसे swallow कर लेना means if you are having any disease and doctor has given you some medicines to take, you are not taking it for taste or for your hunger, but that for the cure of your disease. So what you are doing, you are swallowing the medicine because you know that it is useful right now for you. So in the same way, it is swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested. Chewed and digested means very analytically, attentively and carefully, line to line, you are reading the book, understanding it and then learning it. So it is to be chewed and digested, understanding it and reading it. That is, some books are to be read only in parts, others to be read but not curiously, and some few to be read wholly and with diligence and attention. Diligence, carefully, attentively. Some books also may be read by deputy and extracts made of them by others, but that would be only in less important, argument, and the meaner sort of books. Deputy, your junior, assistant, your subordinate, somebody working under you or had referred you about a book, and without having any particular interest, you have gone through the book just to know what is the summary or essence of that book. So that book is not valuable content-wise, theme-wise, and so it is fallen in the category of this meaner sort of books. Else, distilled books are like common distilled waters, flashy things, something that is giving you a spark, giving you an attention, seeking your attention, but it is not tasteful, like distilled water. Reading maketh a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man. Again, 3 categories I've mentioned, that full man, ready man, and exact man. Reading maketh, here maketh means makes, a full man, one who has a practice of reading books. We can say he is a complete man, एक संपूर्ण व्यक्ति. Conference, वार्तालाप के through, discussions के through, a person becomes a ready man, एक तैयार व्यक्ति, a ready man, a person who is ready to give her comments or for entering into any discussion, a ready man. And writing, an exact man, a person who has a habit of writing, makes him exact because he has gone through not only in the world of imagination and creativity, but has gone through observation, experiences, observed others' lives, and all those emotions and ideas that he had acquired from his surrounding, and that's why he is said to be an exact man. Now, moving on to the next line. And therefore, if a man write little, he had need have a great memory. And therefore, if a man write little, a person who has not the habit of writing, he never have a great memory. He had need have a great memory. जिसे लिखने की आदत कम है, उसमें एक क्वालिटी होनी चाहिए, and that is कि उसकी याददाश्त बहुत तेज होनी चाहिए. He should have a sharp memory to remember all things. Then writing less may help him. If he confer little, talks little, discuss little, he had need have a present wit. Present wit मतलब उपस्थित बुद्धि, we can say. Presence of mind, he should have that presence of mind. And if he read little, he had need have much cunning to seem to know that he doth not. A person who read little and जिसे पढ़ने की ज़्यादा आदत नहीं है, he don't have a habit of reading much, but he should have that expertise, that cleverness in his nature to show off that he knows about everything. That is mentioned here, to seem to know that he doth not, does not have that knowledge, but through his action and behavior, he behaves as if he knows everything. Now, histories make men wise, poets witty, mathematics subtle, natural philosophy deep, moral grave, logic and rhetoric able to content. Here, different subjects have been mentioned here to repair the defect of the weaknesses of mind. For example, person who are reading history makes them wise. Poets, witty. Mathematics, subtle. We can say one who is a mathematician or study maths, more calculative because it needs great concentration. So the person's nature should be very evaluative, analytical, calculative. Natural philosophy builds one to go in a deep thought. A person who is reading philosophy has the nature of thinking deeply, not on the shallow surface or the superfluous study. Logic and rhetoric able to content. Rhetoric means use of beautiful words in the language, and thus it convince and satisfy others. Abuent studia in mores. This is a Latin phrase. Abuent studia in mores. It means studies, defines and determines one's character. Nay, there is no staunt or impediment in the wit, but may be wrought out by fit studies. Here nay means no. There is no staunt. Staunt means hurdles, obstacles in the wit, but may be wrought out by fit studies. If you have anybody is having any weaknesses, any defect, it can be overcome by appropriate choice of subject to study. Like, as diseases of the body may have appropriate exercises. Here, the essayist says that like as diseases of the body, the person has got different treatment, different prescriptions, different medicines for cure of different diseases. Likewise, the exercises for overcome the defect of mind is mentioned here. Bowling is good for the stone and reins, shooting for the lungs and breast, gentle walking for the stomach, riding for the head and the like. Means bowling is a good exercise for those who are having stones, gallbladders and kidneys. Here reins, R-E-I-N-S, reins means kidneys. Shooting for the lungs, shooting exercises for the lungs and breast is good. Gentle walking is good for the stomach and to keep one's body fit. So riding for the head and so forth. So, if a man's wit be wandering, wandering मतलब fluctuate होना, wandering मतलब ध्यान भटकना, that is wandering. If a man's wit be wandering, let him study the mathematics, for in demonstration, if his wit be called away, never so little, he must begin again. Why mathematics? Because if a person's mind is poor concentration, then he should practice mathematics, because that need good concentration. And in between doing the demonstration, doing the solving the problem, if his mind wanders, distracts by something, then he have to again start from the beginning. And that's why it is helpful for a person to strengthen the concentration. If his wit be not apt to distinguish or find differences, let him study the schoolmen, for they are simile sectors. Now here schoolmen refers to religious philosophers, we can say teachers, lecturers, because one who is not able to differentiate between things, जो तुलना करने में असमर्थ है, वो कैसे इस कमी को पूरा कर सकते हैं? So let him study the schoolmen, the philosophers, because they are simile sectors. Here simile sectors, C-Y-M-I-N-I, sectors, S-E-C-T-O-R-S, R-E-S, sectors. It means the hair splitters, जो बाल की खाल निकालते हैं, मीन्स जो बहुत डीप तक जाते हैं और चीज़ों के जड़ तक जाके उन्हें देखते हैं. So that is, they are simile sectors, and it would help them or develop the ability to make differences or to find differences. If we not apt to beat over matters and to call up one thing to prove and illustrate another, let him study the lawyer's case. One who is not able to authorize his point. He knows it, but he has not that caliber, or we can say craftsmanship, to support his points. Then he should read the law books, because it will help him to authoritatively support his points. Thus, so every defect of the mind may have a special receipt. Every defect of the mind. So these are the defects, weaknesses of mind one may have, and it can be overcome through learning of the different subjects mentioned here. So with this, one can easily overcome the defects of mind. So this is the end of the essay of studies by the essayist Francis Bacon. Now, viewers, I have also prepared the word meanings for you. I just like to show you. These are the, you can see, the word meanings I have prepared for the students. It might be benefited for them, because after going through these word meanings, if you will read the essay, it will be very easy for you to understand. Serve for delight here means provide pleasure. Ornament, charm in conversation. Privateness and retiring, you can just see. Seclusion, solitude. Discourse, conversation. Disposition of business, discharge of duties. Execute, put into action. Judge, arrive at right conclusion. Marshalling affairs, organization of matters. Sloth, laziness. Affectation, artificiality. Rules, theoretical learning. Humor, whim. Pruning or trimming. Bounded in, controlled by. Observation, practical experience of life. Confute, contradict, weigh and consider, to evaluate the work carefully. So there are many more word meanings, but right now I think this is sufficient for you all viewers. Thanks for watching. Now the world is fighting against COVID-19. So I would like to give a small message to all my viewers that break the chain, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.